Before we get started, I just very quickly wanted to announce the winner of our giveaway from Wednesday's video. The winner of our copy of Full Art Professor Oak's research on PTCGO is the Shiny Horsey. Thank you very much for your entry. If you could leave your PTCGO username down below so that I can add you and trade you that card, that would be fantastic. I have 2 more copies of Full Art Professor Oak to give away to 2 lucky viewers. There will be 2 winners of this particular giveaway, so make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below, Oak loves pokes, and you'll be entered to win. So let's take a look at our Flying Pikachu VMAX list. I think it's really cool. It's got a 310 HP, which for a VMAX is a little bit low, but frankly, we're not too worried about that because our deck is designed to stop our opponent from dealing damage. Max Balloon for 1 lightning and a double colorless deals 160 damage, which will 2-hit most VMAXs in the format, but it will also prevent our opponent's basic Pokemon from attacking into our Flying Pikachu VMAX. No damage can be dealt from basic Pokemon if we use Max Balloon, so decks like Suicune and Zacian V will struggle to get damage off. If we are up against a VMAX deck, however, things will become slightly more difficult. We do have Fly on the basic Flying Pikachu V, which does 120 damage for 3 colorless energy, and if we flip heads on a coin flip, will prevent all damage dealt to this Pokemon next turn. That's from basics and from evolutions, which is really nice. If we want to, we can even use Glimwood Tangle to increase the chance of us flipping heads and preventing damage from 50 to 75%. So 3 times out of 4, our Pokemon is not going to be damaged by attacks. I think that's really good. We can also potentially mitigate the risk of those coin flips by evolving into our VMAX and utilizing Memory Capsule. We've got a couple of copies of this card in the deck. It allows us to use attacks from previous evolutions of our Pokemon rather than using the attacks on the VMAX, which is really nice. Plus, it also means that we can pair it nicely with the Thunderous Awakening Jolteon. I really like this card at the moment. If this card has a Memory Capsule attached, it prevents your opponent from using any abilities from Water-type Pokemon, and with cards like Frostlass, Frostmoth, and the ever-popular Inteleon engine floating around in Standard at the moment, this card is a really strong. So since we've got the Memory Capsule, we may as well use that too. Now the question becomes how we're going to power up the Flying Pikachu VMAX. I've seen lots of people playing with the Flaffy version. Personally, I don't like Flaffy. I think Flaffy is a bit average at the moment. Instead, we're going to use Electrode. Buzz Up Generator is a very good ability. It does give up a prize, which is an issue, but if we're not going to get damage, then it doesn't matter if we're giving up prizes, so we will knock out our Electrode and search our deck for 2 lightning energy and attach them to our Pokemon in any way we like. That is going to be the way that we power up our Pikachu. Worst case scenario, we can use cards like Raihan to get that energy on when we need it, but ultimately, we should be fine with just Electrode. So, let's take this one out onto the ladder. Hopefully, we can get some wins with it. It's been a little bit of a struggle, but it's definitely workable, and see how we go. Alrighty, it's game time. We've got ourselves a pretty good start. I forgot to mention as well, by the way, that Flying Pikachu has free retreat, which is incredibly good. We do play Air Balloon in the list to try and give ourselves a retreat if we don't start with Flying Pikachu, but ultimately, I think it's really good. Like, it's a really cool card, a really well-designed one, I think, which, you know, ultimately is a good thing. Looks like we're up against Rayquaza here, so this could be very interesting. Fly is going to be a very useful attack for us. We are going to use their Stormy Mountain, grab ourselves a Voltorb. We'll play down the Pikachu. We'll use the Lightning Energy on the Pikachu on the bench to draw a couple of cards. Those are not great, but they're workable. Let's get rid of the Marnie. We'll grab another Voltorb. We don't need Jolteon in this matchup. They don't have any Water-type Pokemon with abilities. I'm thinking we just pass here. I don't really want to lose my Flying Pikachu in the active. I certainly don't... Oh my goodness, that Fan of Waves is very frustrating. I also don't want to discard energy if I don't have to, so I'm going to hold this hand, and hopefully it works out for us. If we can... we are going to hopefully get an attack off with Flying Pikachu VMAX this turn. We will see. We're going to need to be a little bit lucky with Professor's research, but it's definitely possible. And our opponent's playing Rayquaza, so they could just brick. Rayquaza does that every now and then, so don't be surprised if Rayquaza does fall apart at the seams occasionally. Yeah, so we'll see how we go. Now, next week, I've got a couple of videos planned for the V Battle decks. I've got a Noivern list and a Rayquaza list that I want to share with you. If you could comment down below as well, you're entering the contest, obviously. You're going to say the Oak loves pokes, whatever I told you to say. You're going to say that, but then you're also going to tell me what deck you would prefer to see first. Do you want to see Rayquaza, or do you want to see Noivern? Those V-Battle decks have been out for a while, and I still haven't looked at them, so it's definitely going to happen early next week. Looks like our opponent doesn't have a retreat out of the active just yet. They have an air balloon on the Rayquaza, but they do not have a retreat. Ice Wolf does not look like he has the cards, so hopefully we are going to get an opportunity to attack here. Is it going to happen? You're going to give it to me? You're going to give it to me? Quick ball. Okay, we're still playing cards. We're still living under the delusion that we're going to attack this turn. There's a Cricketone. Alright, sure. My turn. Alright, so we need an Electrode. That Evo Incense will do the job. I like that very, very much. Let's grab an Electrode, chuck that down here. And this means that we can get our energy out before we research, which I think is a really, really good thing. Let's grab ourselves another Pokemon, potentially. No, we don't need anything else. And then we can replace with Glimwood Tangle. We will use Buzzap Generator, get 2 Lightning Energy out of the deck. We'll put those both onto our Flying Pikachu V, and then we can research. Hopefully we find Memory Capsule on the VMAX, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. If we don't, we just need to flip heads. So let's retreat. We'll go into our Flying Pikachu V, and we need that 75% chance of a heads flip. Beautiful, we don't need to flip again. We cannot be damaged by this Rayquaza next turn. I am frankly very happy with that. And we've got energy for next turn, and we've got an Evo Incense if we want it. There is a lot going on here which is good for us for next turn. Now, the biggest problem that Flying Pikachu V has is its attacks are pretty good, but Fly is a little bit low on damage. 120 is decent, but it's not good. If it was 160, then it would be a good attack, right? But the fact that we're not two-shotting VMAXs is a problem. Having to attack 3 times, it tempts fate a little bit, because obviously there's going to be a point where we're going to flip double tails, and we would rather have less attacks than more, to be honest. Every opportunity that we get one, we need to try our best to get those big damage turns off. Now, our opponents switched into this Cricketone, which is an odd choice. They had an air balloon. They could have just retreated. And they've missed the heads on the Crushing Hammer. There's some advice for you, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't play Crushing Hammer. It is a useless, terrible card. We've got ourselves a Speed Lightning Energy. We're going to grab, actually, another Electrode out here, because we want to thin that deck. We want to thin it out of energy now. We don't need these in the deck anymore. We need them on our Pokemon. So let's throw those onto the benched Flying Pikachu on the bench. The benched one on the bench, obviously. Then, after our opponent takes the prize, we can use Speed Lightning Energy. We get a Memory Capsule, which is fantastic. I can attach that to the active and evolve into the VMAX. And then I can use any of these supporters if I want to, but to be brutally honest, I think I'm still going to go for the Fly. That seems fine. Another Heads, which is fantastic. Again, our Flying Pikachu is invincible, which I'm a big fan of. Our opponent needs to switch this turn and find a Gust. Rayquaza does have a lot of inbuilt consistency, however, so I would not be surprised if they do manage to do it. But then we've at least got an opportunity to try and win this game by flipping heads over and over and over. Now, our opponent decided not to play Boss's orders there. They instead went hunting for the Crushing Hammer, which is a shame, because you always flip tails on Crushing Hammer. Can't flip tails on Fan of Waves, though. We're going to see an Evo Incense. Then they'll be able to draw some more cards thanks to Azure Pulse, or whatever it is. Azure Burst, perhaps? Not entirely sure. Plus, they've also got Cricketone left, right? So, looking pretty good for them, apart from the fact that they cannot damage our Pikachu at all. Like, at all. It's impossible. We used Fly, they can't hit into us. Now, they're using Phoebe. I don't know why they're using Phoebe. They just discarded another boss. There's a switch. I hope they don't think that this Phoebe means that they're going to be able to attack. They've just not read the card. Well, we're going to keep this in. They are max bursting. Oh, no. No, dude, don't do that. It works? What? I mean, they didn't knock me out. They could have knocked me out, as if that works. I mean, I suppose it works. Well, now I look like an idiot. Anyway, let's just boss's orders up that Cricketune. We're going to take a knockout here with Flying Pikachu, I think. We do need to flip heads with Fly. Because I forgot to mention if it's... we got heads again. We got heads again. I forgot to mention that if we flip tails, we don't do any damage. It's kind of a big risk. So yeah. Phoebe. It's an effect on a VMAX. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I didn't think that that would work. I think you could tell that I didn't think that would work based on my reaction. This is going to be a little bit harder than I'd originally thought. Especially if they play multiple copies of it. It's a real shame, because they could have, and probably should have, taken the knockout that turn by attaching another energy, but they just didn't. So, yeah. Just going to ignore it. We're just gonna ignore it and hope that it goes away. Unless they're trying to attack with, like, Fluffy or something. That could be a concern. They could do that now, actually. Oh, my word. If they boss up the Flying Pikachu, they can just knock us out with the Fluffy. 3 Tails flips on Crushing Hammer. Going for the sweep. 4? No, well, I mean, we couldn't be as lucky as we'd like. That's okay. That's okay. I can live with 1 out of 4. That's acceptable. Our opponent's just gonna deck themselves out here. I mean, it's worked. We've prevented them from dealing damage on most turns of the game. The only prizes that they've taken so far have been the Electrodes that we have given them. And it looks like they're just going to pass. Yeah, so we're in a pretty good spot here. I'm thinking we'll quick ball away an Eevee. We don't need that. We can grab another Pikachu. We can play either of our supporters here. I think Research seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. There's a Glimwood Tangle. That's a pretty good card to get. We can evolve into our Flying Pikachu VMAX, and then again, we can just fly, prevent our opponent from dealing any damage. We've flipped 4 heads in a row. That's incredible. We haven't even needed Glimwood Tangle. We haven't even needed it. Actually, do you know what I could have done? I could have just attacked with Max Balloon there. If I attack with Max Balloon, I half hit the Rayquaza, and next turn I can just knock it out anyway. But it's okay. I'm 99% sure that our opponent can't do anything about this. And even if they can, they're not in a position to win the game, because they've got 1 card left in their deck. Now, if they play something like Power Pad and put the Phoebe back in, maybe I'd be concerned. Maybe if they attacked with Fluffy this turn, I'd be concerned. But to be honest, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Attaching energies to that Rayquaza is not going to do the job. Yeah, definitely should have Max Ballooned. I'm starting to think that there's now a myriad of ways that they can actually win this, which I'm not happy about. That's okay. They don't play Power Pad. They don't play cards like that. It's not gonna happen. It's fine. It's fine. They're retreating into the Rayquaza. I want to stop us from 2-hitting it again, I suppose. I'm going to power these bad boys up. I really think that Fluffy is the way to go. Means that if I Max Balloon, they can attack into me. That's okay. It's fine. We're going to win here. We are going to win. I don't see them playing Marnie. So we're going to stack our hand up as best we can. I'll play down the Glimwood Tangle, and I think I just hold this hand and Max Balloon. I think it is as simple as that. If I Max Balloon, I have the boss's orders in my hand. That will do the job. We should have done that last turn. We could have won the game today, this turn, but instead, we will have to wait until next turn. They will also deck out at the start of their next turn. No, they won't. They have Power Pad. Ignore me. Ignore what I have to say. Does that mean that the last card in their deck was Power Pad? Is that really what's happened there? Alrighty. So they will be able to take a knockout here. They can retreat into their Rayquaza that has been damaged and take a knockout. That's fine, but we have Boss's Orders in our hand. We can gust up the damaged Rayquaza, deal 160 damage, and take the victory. So I am happy with that. I cannot complain. Even though we have given our opponent 5 prizes, we are still coming out on top. And that's the key, right? Winning is grinning, usually. Although, to be fair, this game has been a little bit sketchy, and I'd really like to use the Jolteon if I can. Let's just Boss's Orders up that Rayquaza. Well played, Ice Wolf. Appreciate your attendance. Max Balloon takes the knockout, our last 3 prizes. Thank you very much. Let's get ourselves another game. Hopefully we can go up against something that has that Inteleon engine. Okay, so we've got ourselves a matchup and a half here. We've got Voltorb, we've got Eevee. I don't know if we're going to need it. The real issue that I'm spotting is this. Opening hand. It's atrocious. But you know what? Top decking an Electrode gives us an attack this turn. I cannot complain. It looks like we are playing up against a Regieleki lightning-based single prize attacking deck, which is very, very cool. It has the Terra Spark attack that does 120 and then a bunch of damage to bench Pokemon. That's why they have the telescopic sight on there. So this could definitely be a really cool list to take a look at. But we're focused. We are focused on Flying Pikachu at the moment, and I also think, there's that Pinchurchin with Spinning Fan, does 10 damage to everything. I think that if we flip heads on Fly this turn, we can go on to win the game. Oh, we are weak to Lightning, I need to remember that. Okay, so we don't have a very good top deck. I can attach to the benched Flying Pikachu. Oh, I was going to grab another Voltorb, but there isn't one. Okay, Thundershock, flip heads. Thundershock, flip heads, you're paralyzed. Thank you very much. I'm the best player in the world. It's a very skilled player. What can I say? You can't even see my hand. It's off in the void, in the distance. It's over here. Well, I never. Okay, so we've bought ourselves a turn, hopefully. This one will be an embarrassing one to lose. Bruno is not good for us. Please do not. Please do not. Just don't. Just please don't. Okay, they didn't. All right. So top deck something. It's not something. Thundershock heads again. Paralyzed again, you're paralyzed again. Thank you very much, game. You're paralyzed. Well, you are watching greatness unfold right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a perfect turn. We're being Marnied. Oh. Okay, so I don't want to make a big fuss, but as long as we draw something, we are in this game. We are in this game, ladies and gentlemen. We are in this game. We'll evolve the Jolteon just to get it out of the deck. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find any of our water engines at the moment. We'll play down the Flying Pikachu, and then we can Marnie. That seems like a really, really strong turn. As long as we draw an energy. What? As long as we draw an energy, we're fine. Okay, let's just quick ball away this research. We'll just grab a Crobat. We'll get one off the Crobat. We'll get one off the Crobat. We'll get one off the Crobat. Let's evolve into the Flying Pikachu VMAX. We're committing. We're getting one off of the Crobat. Gimme, 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 gimme. Energy. We got one energy. Alright, so we can retreat. Free retreat on Flying Pikachu. And then we'll replace the stadium. And Max Balloon, which will take a knockout and will also prevent all damage from basic Pokemon next turn. So our Flying Pikachu VMAX is safe. Or at least as safe as is reasonably possible at present. Now, they could gust and knock out our Flying Pikachu VMAX. That would be terrifying. Regieleki can do that. Remember, Flying Pikachu, though it is a lightning type, is weak to lightning. So this game is not as clear-cut as you would have originally thought. They are going to do just that. I'm going to give them the Voltorb. I'm giving them the Voltorb. And they're going to Marnie us. Okay, so this time, not that big of a deal. Don't mind the Marnie here. Do not mind the Marnie. Don't mind the Marnie. And they're going to Dynamotor. I hope they have a switch. Why did they not go just straight into the Regieleki, right? They had the energy already. It's very strange. They're going to Terra Spark. They'll do 120 to the Voltorb. They'll knock it out. And then they deal a 70 damage snipe to 2 Pikachu VMAXs, which is, that's a lot. Okay, well, we've got our attacker. All we need to do is avoid double boss. I don't know how likely that's going to be, but you know what? We're going to give it a red-hot crack. Let's thin. We don't need any of these cards in the deck. We can get rid of this Electrode. We can grab out this Flying Pikachu. And then we'll Max Balloon. Now, we just need to attack 5 more times, but I give my opponent an incredibly good chance to win this one. Because, as I said, all they need is to have boss twice, and they will win. But their deck is a single prize attacking deck. It's a little bit inconsistent in the sense that it's using the Fluffy engine. I don't know what kind of support accounts they have. Well, you never know. You never know with these things. We could find ourselves in a position where we can win, especially if they don't boss this turn. They're just going to Terra Spark, so they're just going to snipe some damage. I can live with that. Now, they should deal damage to the benched Pokemon, but they won't deal damage to the active, which is the key. Now, they're dealing, what, 30? 20? 40? Pretty decent amount here. We're going to take a knockout with Max Balloon. We can put down the Air Balloon on the Crobat. We can play down the Memory Capsule on, I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll put it on the Jolteon just in case. And then we can research. I want to give myself as many good cards as I can, realistically. Let's grab this Jolteon out of the deck. We don't need that anymore. We can Quick Ball the Flying Pikachu away just to get rid of it. We can attach. Let's attach to the other Flying Pikachu. And then we can Max Balloon. And we just need to hope that our opponent misses boss again. This is the thing, right? As long as we keep forcing our opponent to miss boss, we should be fine. Now, they're promoting Regieleki, which means they probably have it. I don't like that. I'm not a fan. But as long as they don't set up another one, should be okay. Should be alright. I really like the concept of this deck. I think it's pretty cool. I'll have to look into it. I'm not gonna steal your list, Toast. I'm just gonna examine it. Toast 990617. What a name. Okay, so what are they going for? The Fluffy. The Fluffy's gonna start attacking us. Okay, so this is fine. Tool Scrapper. Not relevant. Not super relevant anyway. So, this Fluffy is important because the Fluffy can deal 100 damage to us, right? It can deal 100 damage to each of our Flying Pikachus, because if I Max Balloon, which I'm going to do, the Regieleki can't attack into us, but the Fluffy can. Remember, Max Balloon only prevents attacks from basic Pokemon, and Fluffy is a stage 1, so they will be able to attack into us this turn. If they choose to use Fluffy as an attacker, though, they are risking not being able to get another Regieleki set up, and at the moment their hand seems pretty dead, so I'm okay. I'm okay with this. They've got an energy. They're going to use Dynamotor. They're going to get an energy onto the other Fluffy, which is fair enough. They're going to get themselves set up. They're going to be able to attack twice. Now, we can Max Balloon if we want to, or we can potentially try and find a Memory Capsule to try and knock this Fluffy out with Fly. If we do the Fly move, we'll just get some cards here. If we go for Fly, I think we just Max Balloon, right? It doesn't really matter if they attack into us. Because if we go for Fly, if we miss the heads, then we probably lose the game, right? So I'm not willing to risk it. Our opponent has 1 prize remaining. They cannot reasonably expect to take a knockout on our Flying Pikachu. I think the game is now over. Yeah, they bricked right at the end, but that could have been frightening. And if they had have been able to find boss at any point, I was genuinely worried that we were going to lose. But hey, that's okay. Good games in the end. Thank you very much. Good deck. So you've seen the games, but how good is this thing really? Ultimately, of the 2 Pikachu VMAX from this set, I would say this one is definitely the worst. It's not necessarily bad, but you do rely on coin flips and things like that, so the consistency isn't quite there. The power is also quite low because Max Balloon can half hit VMAXs, but they just knock you out. Fly doesn't quite get the damage done. Ultimately, it's good fun for the kitchen table, but I wouldn't be taking this one near ranked ladder anytime soon. A decent deck for sure, but not one that I'm super keen on. I'm not going to be playing this again, let's put it that way. Thank you very much, though, for coming along. Hopefully you've enjoyed our look at some Celebrations decks this week. We've got some cool stuff coming up next week with the V-Battle decks, which I'm super keen to try. If you are keen to see them, then leave a like on the video if you haven't already. Enter the contest, try and win yourself one of those full art copies of Professor Oak. I appreciate you coming along as always. You guys are the best. If you like to see some streams and stuff, catch them as they are going up. Follow Twitter. Get on a Discord. Click all the buttons. I really appreciate it. Apart from that, though, we'll leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for coming along, and I will see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.